हेलो एवरीवन। आज मैं कुछ अच्छे एमबीए कॉलेज का इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस बताने वाला हूँ। पहला है आईआईएम रोहतक, दूसरा आईआईटी दिल्ली डीएमएस और तीसरा आईआईटी कानपुर। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट। फर्स्ट में आईआईएम रोहतक का जो मैंने दिया था जनवरी में, उसके बारे में बताने वाला हूँ। ये सबसे पहला कॉलेज था जिसने इंटरव्यू लिया था। ये करीब जनवरी में हुआ था और मुझे इसका स्लॉट मिला था करीब 25 जनवरी 8 AM का। तो उसमें पैनलिस्ट में एक मेल और एक फीमेल इंटरव्यूअर थे, जिसमें देर वॉज नो इंट्रोडक्शन, just they gave an extemporary topic which was EVs in India and its application. So मैंने उसके बारे में कुछ बताया। उसके लिए उन्होंने 1 मिनट का समय दिया था सोचने के लिए। उसके बाद मैंने 2 मिनट उस पर एक्सप्लेन किया। उसके बाद उन्होंने they asked me about my work experience, and then they asked some simple questions of 10th and 12th related to physics, because I was senior associate in topper in the physics subject. So they asked some questions related to physics. Then they asked some general knowledge questions like presidential election in India and how president is elected in India. They wanted to ask in brief, because I just told that member of parliament and Vidhan Sabha members elect the president, but they asked deeply that no, not with only Vidhan Sabha, because many states have two state assemblies, that is Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. So they asked which states have these two state assemblies. So I was only knowing about Bihar, that Bihar has two state assemblies, but they wanted to know more. So I just said randomly UP and Maharashtra, because they have huge population, and it was luckily right. So it went well. Then they asked how is Chief Justice of India elected. There was I was something wrong, because I told that President and bench of Supreme Court judges elect the Chief Justice of India, but actually only President appoints the Chief Justice of India. So I was slightly wrong there. So, and they, one more thing, that they asked me the original degree certificate, and it was online interview. So I was supposed to keep that on my desk, but I have not kept that. And in the mid of interview I had to go to that drawer which you can sit outside. So I went there and took my degree certificate, and actually I was wearing coat above and half pant or lower downside. So maybe it went uh, wrong impression, but overall it went well. I will tell you about the results at the end. So next comes the IIT Delhi. So I went, there was offline interview of IITs. So I went to IIT Delhi on 15th March, and my slot was 12 p.m. So there was three interviewer, two female and one male. It was around 10 to 12 minutes interview. And for IIM Rohtak, I forgot to tell you, it was only 6 to 7 minutes interview. It was very short, because I think that interviewer were in very hurry. They have called many candidates for the interview, and they were in very hurry. IIT Delhi was 10 to 12 minutes interview, which was offline. So let's see. There was simple, and they asked me introduction, I gave that. They asked me about work experience, what I did actually in that. They asked me in details what actually work I had to do. Then they asked why you left job, why you could not prepare for CAT with your job. Then they asked me about the my future goals, which I told. Then they asked why, how you think that IIT Delhi will help you in that, in achieving that goal. So I said that IIT Delhi is one of the best institute of India, and I can see that people involving in the whole admission and interview process are also from the MBA graduates. who are doing MBA from that college. So they are managing, actually they are managing the things. And they asked something, and the male interviewer at last asked something about what is chain of product of your company, which I could not tell. It was directly MBA question, which I could not answer. I said sorry, I could not answer. Then they asked me about your weakness, so I said that I lack leadership skills, which I think IIT Delhi will surely give me that and help me improve in that skill. So that's all for IIT Delhi, and now comes IIT Kanpur. I also went there, and it was also offline interview, and actually there was option in IIT Kanpur that we can go to IIT Kanpur, or there is an extension building of IIT Kanpur in Noida. So I went to Noida campus because it was easy to go from Delhi. There were two male interviewers in the panel, and the interview lasted about 25 minutes. It was 16th March, and my time slot was 8 a.m. They asked me about my introduction. Uh, they said you are looking nervous. I was actually. It was around 8 a.m. I could not complete my sleep. I not so early bird. Then he said, "What will I? Will you be comfortable if I say that I am also from Patna?" then which then they asked which topic are you comfortable with. Then I told that presidential election because I got that question in IIM ROHTAK, and after that in that interview I completely read that how is the procedure. So I said that, but they asked slightly different question. They asked US versus Indian parliament presidential election, means how US presidential election is different from Indian presidential election, and what are the two advantages and two disadvantages of both these countries presidential election. So I told something because I knew something about US presidential election, but not completely. They were not fully satisfied with my answer, but it was not wrong, but slightly less, I think I said, because I had less knowledge about US presidential election. Uh, then they asked president of the opposition party of India, that is Congress. So I replied that correctly, that is Mallikarjun Kharge. Then they asked, have you managed something completely with your own in company or in your personal life? Then actually I didn't managed completely anything in my company, but I managed many things in my personal life, if you know me closely. So I told them that in personal life, yes, I built my home, and I was completely involved in that, and it was a successful project. So I told them that we are profiting from that building also. So after that, they asked me simple mathematics questions, like suppose the cost of fuel is 4 or something 5 from Patna to Delhi. What will be the cost of one ticket? This type question they asked per person ticket. Then they asked simply 11Q, which I replied that because I knew 11Q. It is easy 1331. That they wanted to know the speed. They asked in very hurry. So that was they asked simple calculations, but they wanted to check the speed, presence of mind. Then there are some physics questions because I had work experience of that subject. So that's all. So basically, I wanted to say that they are not just asking in MBA interviews in IIMs or IITs, that are premier institute of MBA in India. They are not asking anything related to CAT, what you have studied till now. they're asking what you are you aware of your country, at least aware of your state, means what is going in your country, in other countries, in neighboring countries, what is going on. And then another thing about IIT Kanpur, there was GD interview, GDPI, means group discussion. So what went there, that 10 people were selected, and group of 10 people were sent to a GD room where two panels were sitting. They were looking highly experienced. I can say that one was female of around 50 years and male was around 45 years. So they gave number A to J, everyone, and everyone was speaking, and they counted how many times one person speaking. That is important. Um, taking chances also important in GD. And the topic was the it was related to neighboring countries, like what are the factors or mm, consequences of the economic consequences of the economic downfall in Pakistan and Bangladesh. So everyone told about that, and I had also some idea about that, and I was mostly speaking about the factors and what will the consequences on India, what we will suffer if the economic growth is not there in Pakistan and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, what will be the consequences that India will suffer. So my mostly part was that, and that's all. So you can prepare all these topics if you clear the cutoff of CAT, especially IITs and IIMs, because if you can clear the CAT, you can study at least. Not study if you are aware, just aware of the things happening around you. You can crack the interview also, because there is nothing special to study about that. Just you can read newspaper and be aware of things around you. Thanks.